Welcome to our podcast, designed for psychologists, therapists, and counselors who want to take their business online and live a soul-nourished and profitable life without compromise. If you want to know the secrets used by practitioners just like you to navigate the global e-learning market successfully, then you're in the right place. I'm Dr. Tilean, chartered psychologist, business mentor, and your host, and welcome to the Abundant Practitioner Podcast. Hi, so in this episode, I'm going to be talking about offers and the various types of offers that you're going to want to ensure that you have in your business and that you optimize in your business in order to scale successfully, right? This is going to be applicable for you whether you are in the early stages of building your coaching consulting business, whether you're a coach, consultant, or maybe you're a practitioner turning into that industry and way of working. And it's also going to apply to you if you are in that scalable season, right? You have maybe built your business to around about the 5-figure a year mark, and you are looking to scale to the 5-figure a month mark, or even 5 figures a day mark, right? As you know, I'm Dr. Tilean. I'm a psychologist and business mentor for practitioners, coaches, and consultants. And I've been operating in the online coaching world for 10 years now. So let's dive in, right? So the different types of offers that you're going to want to ensure that you have falls into 3 categories. I like to think of 3 different categories that my offers need to tick, right, for my business. So we've got audience building offers, we've got trust building offers, and then we've got transformational offers, right? So I'm going to explain what I mean by each of these. Now, before I even go into that, if we think about building a business, right, growing a mission, right, building the brand presence and having clients, is that in order to have clients, you need to have an audience. And in order for those clients to want to work with you and spend money with you and get your help, they need to trust you. They need to believe that you can help them, that you are the person that they are looking for to support them on their journey of transformation and change, whatever that might be. And so that's why I think it's really important to recognize, am I audience building? Do I have an audience building offer or an audience building offer suite, right? And you can have one great one of each of these. Yeah, you don't have to have loads of different things. Simplified to scale, I think is really, really important to remember. But have I got something that is audience building? It's strictly audience building. It's bringing new people into my world consistently, day in, day out. There are new people that are in my world. How can I measure new people in my world? What is the growth of my email list, right? What is the growth of maybe you're inviting people into a community space? What is the growth of your we could potentially look at followers, although that's a little bit like you don't own that space. And so whilst you want to keep your eyes on those numbers, email list numbers, which you own that database, is important. Or if you own your community, those community numbers are important as well. I'm talking a free community, right? And an email list where people come on and they are coming on every single day. So audience building. What are you doing to audience build? Now, there are so many things that you can think of about audience building, right? But you basically want to give somebody something that they're going to exchange and pay you with attention and be like, wow, like this is helpful, right? And so I think it's really important to not just whip up like some sort of checklist and use that as a lead magnet or an audience builder and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to put this out there, or just put out like just some random ebook or whatever. But you've got to really think about who is your audience, what is their need, what are they struggling with, what do they need help with, and create a valuable, useful tool that is going to be helpful for them to audience build. Because when they opt in, when they give you their name, email address, and phone number in exchange for this thing, if that thing is nonsense, right, you just lost your credibility. Yeah. And so some of you may have come across me because you've been through my business workshop. Some of you might have come across me and come through a masterclass, right? And you've been like, wow, oh my God, like she could have charged me for this, right? It's almost like there's so much value that you're like, okay, I want to kind of stick around and hear what else is being shared. And so you want that kind of impact with when new people enter your world, you want them to have that kind of impact, that kind of experience, that your brand is associated with value, that your brand is associated with actually, she helped me, right? Or he helped me, or they helped me, or whatever, right? And so you got to think about that of like, the offer that I'm creating as my audience building offer, which is potentially going to be a free offer. I think you should have some free facing audience building thing going on, right? That it is like no bar to entry. It's like, let me kind of check this person out and then we can start paying, right? And I'll tell you different kinds of things that you can think of in terms of audience building, because it doesn't have to be an opt-in. You can audience build through your social media channels as well, if that's what you prefer, or a combination of both, right? I think it's useful if you are going to build through your social media channels that you do have a link that people can go somewhere next, right? Or a way to kind of support them in a journey of what there needs to happen so we can trust build, and then we can turn those into clients, which is what the transformational offer is about. So audience building offers, this could be like a masterclass. It could be like, I've got a audience building. I'll talk about it. My 7-day business workshop is an audience building, but it's also a trust building. It's 7 days, right? Yeah. So, you're going to spend 7 days with me, right? It's going to have that trust building factor in it as well. But if I was just audience building, I could do like a 1-hour masterclass, right? There's some trust building elements, but it's a bit smaller. It could be an ebook, it could be a quiz, it could be, like an event, right? Social media. There's so many things that you could put out there. You could even be creative, but is there a through line? Does it make sense in combination with your offer and where you're taking people? It's got to make sense. It can't just be some inspired creative idea that just doesn't make sense for the offer of how you actually help people and what you help them with, right? So really, really think about that. Now let's think about trust building, right? The average person needs to kind of experience about 7 hours of content with you to be like, yeah, they make some sense, right? Yeah. So we're thinking about that 5 to 7 hours of content. Now you got to think of your business as what do I have where somebody's able to build trust through that, right? Now, like I said, I do a 7-day business workshop. That's an hour a day for 7 days. That's 7 hours just there in 1 week. That's how we're able to go from somebody just not knowing me from Adam and being like, who's this Dr. Tilean? Oh my God, let me come and like check her out. And then being like, wow, like, okay, she's talking a lot of sense. This is making sense. Lean in. God, how did this all happen? Right? To being like, oh my gosh, I need to get in the academy like today, and making it work out and happen. And they're in the other side and they're in the offer within 7 days, right? This is the power of like when you have the trust building experience. Yeah. So what do you have, right? That you could think of, look at your business as where could I gain 7 hours of content that I'm going to give these people to understand, how they can change the area of their life that they're struggling with, right? How they can also understand my way of thinking and the way in which I support, right? What is that? Yeah, think about it. Do you have a podcast, a YouTube channel, a training vault, right? A 7-day business experience, right? Or whatever your focus is, yeah? Like, how can you create that trust building and maybe audience build with it, right? So you got to think about that as well. And so, there are different ways that you could do that. You can do it in written form in terms of ebooks and newsletters and blogs and all of that. You got to think of your audience and what kind of methods are going to help them really trust build, and in the speed that you might want them to. I think it's really interesting because sometimes people are like, oh, if somebody's new in my world, right? Like, I just want to like take it slow, right? I was like talking with them in the academy recently about this in terms of like, should I build out that when somebody comes in my world, like there's like a hi, welcome, and then maybe in 7 days, I like send them another bit of value, and then I wait about another week, and then I get in touch again. And I was like, okay, let's pause for a moment. Let's think about this in the sense of like romance and relationships, right? And you are like, you met someone, you thought, oh, he's kind of cute, right? And he sends you one text, right? Or the person sends you one text, right? Or an email or whatever, right? They get in touch with you once saying, hey, and then they don't respond again for 7 days, right? And then they respond again. Like, you might even be thinking like, who are you? Like, I've forgotten about you, right? And then they disappear again for another 7 days. And then they're like, hey, right? Like, it's that relationship building and trust building and getting to know you. And like, or if you meet somebody and it's like, oh my God, where did they come from? Like, how did this person even land in my life? And then the next day they're there with like this amazing value, and they're like, do you know what? Do you want to go for a drink? Do you want to hook up? Like, do you want to like meet up and like let's like get to know each other more? And you have such an incredible experience that you're like, oh, when can I see you again? And they're like, yeah, when can I see you again? And it's just a juicy, beautiful bond, right? That is happening quite quickly in the beginning, that, it's just building relationship. It feels fun, energetic, exciting. Think about that. Like, when people are coming into your world, are you drawing them in, that they're like, I want to know more. I want to know more. I want to know more, right? Or are you like bringing people into your world and then like going away for a week or 2 weeks and then coming back, right? What is really going on? Yeah, so that's what I want to just kind of insert that little story there around audience building and trust building, right? And so they're the things that can trust build in terms of creating an experience. Events can trust build as well, workshops, podcasts, YouTubes, right? These are trust building. You can also trust build on social media. So you'll notice that audience building and trust building can kind of combine, right? Audience building, it requires though you to audience build with it, right? So you're giving something to the audience, to the people, to say, come on in, right? So this requires you to not just create the workshop or create the ebook or create the podcast, but you've got to get it out in front of people. And maybe I'll do another podcast episode on that, or a round table, which I host every now and then. If you don't know about my round tables, get to know about my round tables. They're fun. But where we discuss that, like, how do you get in front of more traffic so you are getting new people in your world every single day? How can new people find out about you every single day, right? That's what you want to be. And then transformational offers, before I wrap up this episode, right? But transformational offers, this is where you are creating transformation. You are journeying with people, whether that is one-to-one or one-to-many or a hybrid approach, right? But you are creating a transformational experience that is paid, right? It's a paid program. It's your paid services. And they feel much more comfortable coming into that paid service because they go through an audience building process, a trust building process. And then when you are sharing about your transformational offer, it all makes sense. And there's a through line that goes through all of those 3 steps. Okay. So that's what I would say, right? The other thing I like to enter is that you can have your trust building and your audience building for free. You can have your trust building and audience building for paid. You could do a combination. There's got to always be some level of free level. Maybe that's social media. There's some like taster to like, or enticement to want to take the step into paying for something, right? So you can think about the various levels of your brand. But if you are thinking about putting in trust building offer or offers that are low ticket, right? You're not doing it to kind of capture like with the mindset of like, oh, I'm just doing this low ticket thing for like people that can't afford me, right? I don't like that way of thinking, because I want you to be fueled by your mission and the transformation and creating things that are actually helping people, as opposed to creating things because they're attached to budgets and constraints, right? So you want to create something, even if it's low ticket, that is still valuable and that meets that person where they are at in their trust building process, to support them as they build up to be in the level where they are in that stages of change, to say, I'm ready to transform, hit the ground running, and take serious action and create momentum in this area of my life, right? So I hope this episode has served you. It's very tactical, right? In terms of like business. Yeah. But lean in, think about, ask yourself that question. What have I got in my office suite right now that falls under audience building, right? How much does my audience grow every day, every week, every month, right? Remember, I like data, okay, right? We want to see the numbers to understand, okay, these numbers make sense, or these numbers don't make sense, and I therefore need to do something different in my business. All right, so that's it. Over and out. Look out for your audience building. How do I trust build? And what is my transformational paid offerings? Okay. See you again soon. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.